was a cynical cliche in the 80s, he who dies with the most toys wins. But in a materialistic perspective, it's actually much more bleak than that. He who dies with the most toys still dies. But perhaps you don't measure success by wealth or the number of cars, the size of the house, or even the school your kids go to. Maybe you measure it by the achievements of your career or the amount of time you spend working. That brings me to another cliche. No one ever says on their deathbed that they wish they'd spent more time working. We may regret having not spent the time with family or showing loved ones how much we care. Jesus has quite a different take on success. What shall it profit a man, he says, if he gains the whole world but lose his own soul? An assumption in that question is that there's something beyond this life and something more to us beyond the merely natural. We find only temporary fulfillments in the accumulation of wealth, and we find only fleeting satisfaction with our careers because these things, as fine as they are to have, are never enough to satisfy the longing of our souls. When the inventor of the wildly popular video game Minecraft sold it for $2 billion to Microsoft, he had more money than he could possibly need. He spent time in exotic locales and had all the experiences one could hope for, and yet through his Twitter account, he constantly tweeted how he was lonely and felt unsatisfied, even in a sea of quote-unquote friends. There simply needs to be something more than wealth. And there's more to life than career success. I think of a famous, highly respected federal judge. He's rendered some of the most influential legal opinions in history, and yet he said that in his opinion, humans are just chimps with big brains. If that's all we are, then it's difficult to see how this judge can be fulfilled in a calling of adjudicating important matters between people when all he's really doing is acting as a zookeeper, keeping the animals from biting each other. The hollowness of accumulating wealth for its own sake, and even achieving prestige and success for their own sakes, is mitigated when we realize that we're more than just consumers and more than just apes with big brains. We have a soul that longs for relationships. That's why we crave them so much, covet them, and mourn their losses. What explains the human longing for relationships that goes beyond mere reproduction? Being created by blind chance and physical forces that don't care can't really explain it. But being created by a personal, loving being does. God exists as a triune being. That means there's one God existing with three distinct centers of consciousness, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. They exist as one being, yet eternally relate to each other. God, according to the Bible, defines relationship, and because He's the cause of our existence, we, as the effect, reflect His relational nature. That's why true success is not measured by stuff or even achievements. It's measured by relationships. St. Augustine wrote centuries ago, "You have made us for yourself, O God, and our souls are restless until they find their rest in Thee." This old idea still echoes today. The Canadian band Crash Parallel wrote the lyrics, "Sleepless nights and endless days and miniskirts and serving trays, waking up from rain delays and selling sex for pocket change, and living off the alcohol, lost inside a bathroom stall with no one but a cab to call, this carbon copy life withdrawal. And I need someone to believe. Someone to fill this space with grace, to look into my eyes and touch my face. Someone to make me strong, someone to make me belong, someone to make me feel alive." It's not things or experience or achievements that get us meaningful success. It's someone. But if I can go one step further, we find ultimate meaning in success when we find our ultimate fulfillment in God, who gave us His Son to pay the price so that you and I can have that ultimate success of a relationship with God.